Last week, Dr. Stephanie Seneff, a researcher at MIT, made a dramatic statement that shocked the audience of scientists that were attending a major conference. She, like we here at Hippocrates, believe that in a very short time, the number she gave was 2025, that half of the children born at that moment will be born with autism. Now, the chart you're seeing in front of you right now can portray why that's happening. If you look at the Center of the Disease Control here in the United States, a scientific wing of our government that does legitimate and ongoing wonderful research, in 1983, this was a very small problem. Today, in 2015, it is a major problem. And by the year, getting worse and worse and worse. Now, the thing that I learned from Dr. Sneffen's work at MIT was that Roundup was even more central in the causative concern of autism than what was historically understood, which would be vaccines and chemicals on our food, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, what we have written about here for many, many years, the chemicals in your clothing, the way we clean our clothing, household cleaners, etc. Roundup from the Monsanto company seems to be right there at the top of the list. And there is a chemistry within that Roundup that's fairly well known. And that particular chemistry blocks pathways of amino acids that literally allow healthy bacteria to spawn within the gastrointestinal tract that literally create 70% of the immune system. Now, if this chemical literally blocks the amino acids, we allow pathogens in that little child's body to grow. The attendees, the scientists that were at this conference, were mumbling and in shock, and what you heard them say was that they wanted to stop eating corn and soy, where most of this genetically modified Monsanto pesticide was coming from. Because for a long time now, most of the public do not understand that new laws have allowed these pesticides through genetic modification to be spliced into our food chain. Almost all of the soy and corn here in North America now has been spliced into Monsanto's Roundup. This is a very, very frightening proposition. Jeffrey Smith, who you may want to look up, has written about this subject for a very long time and linked it to the research that Monsanto literally published stating that it caused irritable bowel syndrome, which goes along with the new findings from MIT. So the statement I would like to make today is not only stop eating food that's not organic, but be sure that you're not eating any form of genetically modified food. If you're listening in countries around the world that have a bit of integrity and have so far slowed down or prevented the consumption of genetically modified food in your nation, encourage that, support your government officials, and write to them. In nations like the United States, where everyone's looking the wrong way on this subject, please write in, because it's never too late. We can reverse these disastrous trends. So once again, the latest MIT report confirms what my saddest and frightening sentiment was, that by the year 2025, she statistically estimates that 1/2 of the children born will be born with autism. Wake up, be informed, and be strong.